Keisha had no idea if this was the murder that the oracle had meant, and if the place where the murder had happened held any significance at all. But still, she had come. Here she was, trying to approach the mystery. Not far away, Officer Fleur watched. She had been following Keisha since the Salton Sea. Here, there were no towns, no watchers to watch her watching. Pull a little off the road, cut the lights, and a person becomes invisible. To take a few uncertain years from someone's life, is that so much of a crime? What are those years worth? And would Keisha have even gotten them anyway? Isn't it better to die in a purposeful, clear way than to stagger on until a superfluous organ starts making its cells wrong? Of course, the officer might choose to not even provide the generosity of a graceful death. How humiliating, for instance, to die peeing in the dirt. But instead, she lay back on the hood of her car, enjoying its warmth, and looking up at a sky promising rain, a sky as gray and blank as slate, a sky about to break into violence. The officer closed her eyes and waited. If she had a name, her name was Thistle. But she had no name. There was no separating her from Thistle. She and it were born in the same instant. Even she could not explain her history. Her first memory was of clawing out of mud after a long rain, but perhaps that was not her first birth. There may have been earlier births in simpler forms that she does not remember. Back then, she didn't need to look human, and so she didn't. She took all sorts of forms: a bird of prey with long white feathers, a burrowing creature with long white teeth, a plant with thorns that broke off and putrefied in the flesh. Her name and form did not interest her. What interested her was the effect she could have on the world. Once humans came, she mimicked them, seeing in them a unique opportunity to cause new pain. It is difficult to track her history once she blended in with people. Which were acts of isolated human cruelty, and which were influenced by her whispering. In 1873, a traveling doctor and salesman of cure-all medicine arrived in the town of Okmulgee, Oklahoma. The sign on his wagon said, "Thistle Modern Miracles of Health." He spoke and sold in town for a few days and moved on. His assistant, a small woman who introduced herself variously as Miss Wheel and Miss Knight, took the coins and offered in exchange vials of a dark blue and bitter medicine. 3 weeks later, everyone who had tried the medicine died of a lingering and painful condition that manifested first as a red bulging in the skin and then incurably infected the brain. The town doctor died himself before he could give an educated opinion of the plague, having disbelieved in the medicine but having sampled it for his own edification. And by the time another doctor was allowed to see the bodies, they had disintegrated into a marshy sponge that smelled peppery and sour. The inconsistently named officer, who in this moment called herself Officer Arm, continued after Keisha. Past the larger towns were the mining towns, a few houses and a school attached to a quarry, and a processing plant. It was dusk, and the plants were still churning. Busy workers, for now, until their jobs went too. Everyone's jobs are expendable, except the officers. That kind of violent hunger is always in demand. She could sleep 1,000 years and wake up to a world that needed her. A man stopped his car to take a picture. The expanse was majestic. The officer stopped too. She put him into the bushes and left him there. Then she got in his car and pulled it back on the road. Always a good idea to switch vehicles. She could taste bitter on the tip of her tongue, and she tried to hold it there.